We ask people to respect the victims of our city who have just gone through probably the worst day and days of their lives.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. That's Menasha Police Chief Matt Albrecht urging the public to stay away. Law enforcement increasing patrols now in those affected areas after 2 people were arrested last night. Albrecht saying more will follow if that kind of behavior continues.
Today's press briefing also shedding light on some of the struggles that first responders and city workers are currently experiencing. The police chief says traffic congestion affecting those utility workers. They're unable to get supplies to the people who need it at times. Now, stricter guidelines for who can and cannot be on the roadways could be put in place if that congestion continues. However, officials are hoping people who don't live in those affected areas will heed the warning, just stay home.
We also learned today that preliminary damage assessments will begin tomorrow. Now, you may see these green, yellow, or red placards on buildings there as crews survey damage. Green means inspected, yellow means restricted use of the building, and red means the building is unsafe. If a placard is added to your home or business, you are asked not to take that down, alter it, or cover it until you are told otherwise.
The City of Menasha will be posting on each affected dwelling a declaration of inspected, restricted use, or unsafe. This is so residents have clear information about how to proceed.
If you need more information on the cards and what they mean, you are asked to contact the city's building inspections team. We have that number for you inside this story on our website at WBAY.com.